Welcome to another episode of Unpacking. Now, of course, as to Joshua's comments, our long awaited podcast episode about sex. Now, I know it's a very taboo topic for a lot of people, but hey, we're all great people. This must be something we can all talk about as adults or even teenagers. Tonight, we'll be delving into, of course, why is sex so taboo? When is it good? How to improve upon it? This entire transverse thing of what is oral, and of course, the pleasures of sex. Now, before we dive into it, I have to ask my lovely host, how are we feeling about the topic of sex tonight, guys? How are we feeling about that?
Considering that I'm celibate, I'm not sure just how much.
But celibacy don't mean you don't know about sex.
No, yes, I know about it clearly.
I'm over here thinking that this might be a very arousing topic.
Arousing topic. Oh, that's
I don't want to be aroused with the two of you in my ears. That's just very gross.
I don't think you would be. I don't think you would be.
I don't know.
Maybe it may spark. Maybe it may spark some interest in, perhaps. Or probably not. I don't know. How are you feeling about that, Alex, talking about sex tonight? How do you feel about that?
As I said, it's going to be a very arousing topic. We can probably pull Joshua out of his celibacy.
No, but this is going to be about Joshua's life. We're delving into this wholeheartedly. You understand?
Just let him know
that about him wanting to be celibate or whatever the case.
That is just it. We will be delving into this topic.
All right, so you know what? Let's delve right into it. So, of course, the first topic that we have here is taboo. What makes sex so taboo? Now, guys, of course, growing up, people normally, when talking about this, you'd shy away from it almost immediately. Is there a reason why you believe that people, as we grow up, we shy away from talking about this so openly? Is there any ideas you have as to why people may want to shy away from talking about sex? Because even just mentioning it brings this taboo. Just brings this taboo, this negative connotation. Why do you think that is so?
What comes with it is that many are people who shy away from speaking about it are either those who would prefer you to think that they aren't doing it, or there are certain things they would rather you not know that they do, some of those kinky fetishes that they live out on a day-to-day basis whenever they get into the adult sandbox, which is.
But you see, I mean, I get that, I get what you're saying, but it isn't even about that per se, right? Why do people insist on keeping it obscure? Like, it's not something that people can talk about openly. It always seems to be met with either it's crass or seen as disgusting or nasty or displeasurable or whatever the case might want to be. Why is that so? Like, for instance, instead of saying, okay, this is true, but I'm talking about the overall view. Like, for instance, you're growing up, maybe not us where we come from, we'll hear about it like this. But you hear people say, okay, let me teach you about the birds and the bees. Why discuss pollination? Why not just say, I'm going to talk to you about what sex is, guys. I'm going to talk to you about what your private parts do. Why not just dive into it that way? Why do I have to find a clever way to bring it across? And that's always the case. If I'm going to say it in the high school, I use words like vitamin S. And if I'm talking to a group of adults within a professional setting, I'll say do the do. Why can't I just say SEX? That's really what I'm trying to.
You would have to answer that, because I have never encountered it, and maybe because of who I am, I just say what it is that comes to my mind. Never really encountered that challenge. If it is that I'm in a setting, even in my church youth club meeting, I remember when we were having discussion regarding marriage and sex, that I was very open. Conversations at work, I don't shy away from the topic. It's something that most, not all, but most humans participate in. Some more than others. Some could do with a break from it. Some could do with a little more.
Is he over there pointing fingers?
No, I'm not pointing any fingers, but if the cap fits, right, you should
let
go ahead
wear
and wear it.
Some of us could more of it.
You can't say amen, you can say ouch.
All right. well said about the fact that it's taboo. Alex, why would you say that sex is such a taboo topic amongst any group of people? Why would you say that? Or would you say that based on your estimation or
I
perspective?
would, at this point in life, I wouldn't, because I mean, right now it's just out there.
Okay,
Back
so it's
in
just out there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
back in the day, yes, it was more not talked about. It was, everybody was conservative, and it was completely taboo to say or even mention sex anywhere. But nowadays, I mean, in this modern society, it's everywhere. It's on your social media. It's in your WhatsApp. Your kids know more about it than you probably do at this point in time. Well, not
What would
us.
you say is the main channel for how sex education reaches to most people? Or would you say it's the main vehicle as to how that gets to people nowadays?
It's education. I don't think there's proper sex education going
No,
on.
what am I saying in terms of how do you think, what media do you think is used to really propagate the idea of what sex is?
Porn.
Media right now. Well, you
That's
can
true.
say porn or you
I
can
would
say
say
the
mostly music. I would say mostly music because I
Well,
think music is something that really delves into the idea of what it is, and of
Yes and no.
course, I
Yes
guess
and no.
it
Reason
kind
why
of it. Go ahead.
is that alright? You telling me to there was a song here. And I hope that the listeners don't think that I am a partaker or consumer of dance or of those sort of music. 'Cause I'm not, but I'm not deaf. I live in the ghetto, and they do play these on very loud sound. So I hear, and the subconscious mind picks up certain things. So there was a song back in the day. Squeeze her breast like the trigger of my gun. I don't know if you fellas can recall that line in in music. And I think it was Spice and Vibes Cartel, Ramping Shop.
Yeah, that was what was coming to my mind more so than yeah.
And you have
And of course, he had his spelling song before
right,
about
right, all manner of things, right. And nowadays now the one that is most descriptive in his songs, and it seems that all of his songs are in relation to the bedroom, is Dexter Daps. And then you have Governor telling
all the other rest.
young
I think that Dexter really delves into it a lot because of the
that
appeal.
is right. I guess the
The appeal that he brings about his artistry. I think that's the reason why that would suit to him. Yeah. All right. So there's a question here. When is it really good? When do you believe that sex is really good?
when both parties are satisfied. It really depends though.
Who does
on
laugh?
how
Who does laugh?
that would have been Mr. Wood. It really depends
That's a
on
very good question. When is it really good?
No. When is it good? And
when
the
it's
reason why-
good. I never think he said really. He said
when is
good.
it good? When is it good? I didn't say really good. He said when is it really good? The question is proposed because of this, right? Some people believe that there is no communication that should take prior to this happening. We should just have clairvoyance and read the room and read the bodies and just move through it. But do you believe that that's the best way to make it good? Do you think that helps in the improvement of anything that happened before?
If there's a certain chemistry, and Alex might be better able to speak to this because he has more experience on the topic, more hands-on experience. That is, I may do more reading than him on it, but he do more doing. But anyway, if there's a certain chemistry, it would help with easing into things and it just happening. But what I found
Easing into things that just happening.
yes,
Oh my god.
found having in a relationship and sleeping with the same person for a consecutive number of years is that it does help to talk to the next person and find out what it is that they actually like or don't like or what they're in the mood for, because it's variety is the spice of life. You can't always do it the same way, and not every time that you are going to do it, the atmosphere or the vibe is the same. So, you know, different strokes may need to be applied to get
So,
the
do you
result.
believe that adventuring? So, based on what you're saying, do you believe that adventuring in the bedroom is a good thing to look into? Do you believe it's good to switch up every now and again?
do believe so. I do believe so. Or
But
what
what
will
are
happen?
off limits though? What
No,
are
that
things
is
that
that
are-
is based on you and your partner. You determine what are the things that they are just no goes for you.
Say you determine what is off limits with your partner.
Okay. Okay, so you would definitely determine between ourselves, you know, what it is that we believe we like, and that's what would make it good. Is there any other way to make
Now,
it
what I
good
was
rather-
saying regarding good, though, I believe what would make it a good session is that both persons would have left feeling satisfied. I do not believe in this thing where I go ahead and after everything is finished, I'm the only one that would have climax. That's a little selfish in my estimation, in my view.
I don't think it's a little selfish. I think it's wholeheartedly selfish.
But but it depends. Again, I tell you.
I mean,
context,
I can't say it depends. I'm gonna tell you.
No, if you're
If you're
paying
not
for
willing, well, that's
then-
different. No, that's
right.
different. That's different. We're talking about you know, I'm speaking from the standpoint of you being something committed. That's what I would mean. I'm not talking about a prostitute.
Even in some committed relationships, they're paying for it. That's literally the whole relationship exists. You know, you take care of me, you give me comfortable living, and then in me doing so, you ensure that I am always satisfied. So you must always be ready. You must always be on. You can never be off. You can never feel like you're not in the mood. That's not an option.
I see. Sounds a bit, but okay.
And that's not me
I can
speaking
get
from
it.
experience.
No, I understand. I would hope not.
Because I don't have that kind of money to be anybody's sugar daddy. No, I'm not in that position.
All right. Well, for some of us who are a bit close-minded to the ideas of all that this is, because some people only believe in this one position, this one way of doing things or whatever. How would you say how would you think we as people can improve our mindset so we can improve on that particular act to make it a lot more enjoyable? What are some things you think we could work on? What would you say about that, Alex? What are some of the things you think we could work on as humans to really make it a more enjoyable experience?
I mean, to be honest, there has to be a bit of open-mindedness, because you might like a certain set of things that your partner might not.
Mm-hmm.
You might your partner might like a certain things that you're probably not interested in or you never knew about. So there needs to be a little bit of openness for you guys to explore the options. I mean, at the end of the day, you'll figure out what you don't like and what you just won't do, what lines you won't cross off. I mean, you guys have to talk about it. Don't let it be weird to talk about sex with the person who you're having it with. Like, don't. You guys need to sit, reminisce on it, talk about it, figure out new things to do, and just make it, you know, one of those experiments every time you're doing it. Some people would say,
I get based on what you're saying, but some people would say if you have to talk about it, that means it's not good. Like if
That's
you
a
have
lie.
to communicate.
That is a complete
Why
lie.
would you say it's a lie? Why would you say it's a lie?
See, when you don't talk about it, it was just meh, meaning there's nothing memorable about it. It was just sex.
Yeah.
It was just an action. You just did it.
Take it from
But doing it,
the point of your perspective, and this is from like mostly like movies and things, and even with real life situations. But from a female perspective, I will refer to the movies and TV shows. In that regard, whenever it is that they have a one night stand, or you know they're interested in this guy and they finally go to the next level, and when it's good, they would go and tell their girlfriends kind of thing, yeah. and if it's bad, but if it's good, they tell them, and you know it's what expected. Same thing with men. Not necessarily that you are kiss and tell, but you have a fellow that come and say, yo, yeah, I don't have those conversations, so I find them very, very uncomfortable, because I don't need to know what position.
I mean, it's not something that you should just come up and say all of a sudden. It has to drop into context. Probably, you know, you guys having a guys' night, or
some guys that just like to run their mode, and
no.
yeah, man,
if you're doing that, then no. If you're doing that, then clearly you're exaggerating the entire situation, and most likely actually underperformed. But you just feel like, say, he's a big man, so you want to run him out about it. But I'm not going to step on anybody's toes, so I'm going to jump on them.
If the toe is out in the thing, now you say you must step on toes and pat shoulders.
That's what I said. I'm not going to step on anybody's toe. I'm going to jump on it at this point, because some of y'all need to understand that bragging thing that you want to come out and do. No, bro. Half the time,
it's so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's so interesting about what you're saying about all these things about bragging. Do you believe that one of the reasons why most men, I should say, are not open-minded to sex is because they believe that women will talk? Because something I've gotten to
that is the
point. I think they'll probably tell their own. I mean, you can't stop someone from talking, but I think it more goes back around to why do you find some of the things you do in your bedroom to be so disgusting, but at the same time that is the privacy of your own bedroom. Bro. So do you think it is right for a woman to just be, you know, talking about this with her girlfriend because, hey, her husband decided to have sushi? Do you think it's right for, you know, them to be speaking about that, you know?
You see, I'm not going to say it is right. It isn't. But at the same time, it depends. A woman will always talk because women chat, and that's just how they are. They have their girlfriends that they will specifically say certain things to. That's different from she saying it to a close girlfriend versus she just telling every other woman. I mean, I guess I would say, in my perspective, it's fine if she's telling her close girlfriend. Yeah, that's just how you guys are. I would understand that. But you see, if you go out there and you start telling, like, everybody about her business, then that's just a little bit wrong, and it's going to make things awkward and uncomfortable.
Well, what I say to that is this: if you're singing high praises about me, right, you are not necessarily doing me any favor, because one, I may not have wanted anybody to know that you and I are in things. And two, I may not want the added attention that comes with you going to tell somebody that, you know, say, yeah man, you fix my business properly. Then they would start looking at you at different ways.
We have here, why the oral trauma? And by that, what do we mean? Why this decision to keeping people outlandish from the cunning linguists and the fellatial technicians? So this would mean
to Alex, because he likes to post on his WhatsApp.
He's not pressuring anyone's daughter.
And all the rest.
Right.
No, not the pressuring anyone's daughter. That's one. The piece on the head between legs thing, you know, because he's very loud and proud.
To beg front and all this.
Right. 101. So you go.
See,
Alex,
I don't have an iPhone, but I'd love to try FaceTime. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I see.
Wow, so he's into FaceTime. Great. So Joshua did peg you for the right type of person right now.
I told you, I have an iPhone and I'm not looking to have FaceTime with anyone because I'm celibate.
I don't care about what anyone of y'all saying. I don't care. First of all,
nothing at all is wrong with it. So let me give you my 2 cents on that.
I never said anything is wrong. I never said you guys were saying anything is wrong.
No, but you say don't care what we say. Yeah. So it's almost like you're saying that what we're saying is against it. I don't think he's against it. Just that I think he believes that you're
an expert. You are an expert.
I am actually.
And he's proud of it, right? He's proud of it.
But out of 10 reviews, I can tell you every single last one of those 10 are 10 out of 10. So I'm quite happy.
So you know what that tells you, man? You know what that tells you though? That he has had a minimum of 10 sexual partners. That's
a minimum.
A minimum that he has.
Over my lifetime, I think we have to probably triple or quadruple that amount. But okay.
I mean, you're proud in what you're proud in. But my question is, why do people have such negative connotation with this? Like, why is it such taboo?
That's coming back from way back when.
Like,
back in the day where they thought, you know, sex was just this action of me inserting my penis into a vagina and then, you know, rolling around a little bit. Yeah, that's what people thought it was. You did something out of the ordinary, it was deemed as taboo. So, Fellatial, Cunning Linguists, yeah, overall it was completely taboo. We're coming into modern society nowadays now, guys, where people are more, in some places, are more accepting of it. Some people really don't care. I mean, if you're doing it, you're doing it. If you're not, you're not.
I'm not sure if it's the accepting, you know. I think it's just become a thing where people have become, they've realized other persons are just being fearless with it, because I don't think it's a case where it was never accepted. I just think it was just the in thing to ostracize it, and it bode well with others for you to just follow that lead. So if we know for a fact that people hit out against what is oral, it just seemed like, you know, something good to join the bandwagon with and just say, hey, I hate it too, even though you're probably doing it as well. So I wouldn't say the case where it's becoming more accepted. I think it's just becoming a lot more unapologetically done. That's really and truly what it should be, because it's nothing new. None of what I'm saying here is new. These are extremely old stuff. These are old things that, you know, we're discussing right now. But I'm just really trying to find out, why is it that people feel the need to be so squeamish about it? It's being able to provide your partner with pleasure should be something that you take great pride in, which is exactly why I can respect Alex for what he does. Now, nothing is wrong with the fact that say, hey, I want to taste that. Some girls like that. They like a guy who's able to say, hey, he's not afraid to eat my
kitty.
He's not afraid to go down there, you know. That's very good that you're proud to say that. Back in the day, I won't say back in my day, I said back in the day, when you were in high school, you know, you couldn't say these things, you know. I'm telling you.
When I was in high school, I actually still said these things.
Well, and that's great for you, you know, but some persons found a very unfavorable end if that was something that they were propagating, because it was widely burnt out. I can definitely tell you that without a doubt it was. And even to this day, some people still look down on it, but they're becoming a lot more, like I said, unapologetically putting it out there.
I'm going to say this out there for majority of the men that are out there. Guys, there are some women that will tell you that they don't want it or they don't like it. There are two reasons for that. One, they've either gotten it wrong the first time, or two, they've never gotten it at all but still stuck in that mindset to burn it out.
Yeah.
Guys.
Or three, something could be wrong with her vagina. She's
that's
aware of it.
That's a different.
That's a different
all over. So we just not going to talk about that.
There's some people that just have
that.
It might be healthy, but it has it carries a scent that is not.
Carries a scent.
The
it
most
could look funny.
it's
disfigured. Many things could be wrong with it, but Joshua is right. That could be a point.
Okay.
As well. Maybe she just
accept it. He's not wrong. That's true. So yeah. But guys, in this society, I'm going to say it. You can burn it out as much as you like, but guess what? If you ain't doing it, somebody else will.
Hold, stop. If you will not do it, somebody else will do it, and then you're going to have problems. And you don't want those problems.
You see, and right there, sir. No. What I would say to that is this. I understand where you're coming from, but to the men who are expectant that she is to fall on her knees and spit shine you, and you are not supposed to
reciprocate.
Right. If it is that is a desire of hers, then yes, you will be in problems. Sure enough, because then there are certain people that are very open with it, like Mr. Alex here, who posts it and then
willing to FaceTime.
And all the rest of it. Right. In a case like that, sure. But if you have a mutual understanding where of two things, she's willing to give you what she doesn't want to receive, and that's okay. Or you guys don't do that, period. You had a discussion, you know that you're out of it. I don't think that generally means that once you're not doing it, then somebody's going to do it to her. No,
not necessarily. I mean, remember, it's a decision, like we said before. You come to a decision, but most times when people have that discussion, it's normally coming from a selfish place, and I'll explain what I mean by that. Some persons coerce their partner to not want it, but somehow try to snivel their selfish demands in. Like, for instance, he will say to her that, remember, say people really like them something then, and if me supposed to do with them, I'm not supposed to do this. She can say, oh, she understand when she get that. But normally, for my birthday, this can't happen. If you feel like you want to do it, that type of guilt tripping type of thing. If we're supposed to use the way you just said it just now, then it has to be a mutual thing, like for real. You can't be trying to push your narrative still a little bit while saying, oh, let's agree not to do this. If you're following what I'm saying.
No.
If it's gonna be the way we're gonna push a narrative, then you will definitely have problems. But if it's a case where both parties decide, hey, it tickles me and I don't like it, that tickles me in a good way, and it doesn't make you feel good either, we just don't do it. Some people, that doesn't have to be a step.
It tells you that it's tickling, you're actually doing it very, very, very wrong. But okay.
I'm just saying, if you believe that if this is not your thing, and because it does have to be a step every couple take. We know this because it's not for everyone. Some people try a plethora of things in the bedroom, and that's just them. But for you, the minute you hear about something like anilingus, you're all like, okay, I'm gonna stop the bus right here. I don't think that's for me, and XYZ, and that is fine.
Yeah, so I was about to ask, because you are there, and the neighbor, that it's not very far away. You get me? It's not quite far away.
Not far away. It's just like
what happens there. And it is a proven fact that for both males and females, because we listen to this podcast for enlightenment.
Yeah.
The ridge of flesh that is between your nutsack and your anus, or
the perineum. Let's use the right word. The perineum, right?
Allow me to educate our listeners, man.
Yeah, sure.
Just thank you kindly. Right. And the opening of the vagina and the anus, that ridge of flesh, is the most.
Or they call it a taint. We have to appeal to all audiences, so they know.
Wonderful. Is the most sensitive of areas as well. When engaged, causes for immense pleasure. Yeah? But
we don't make the rules. It's just what happens.
Right. People let you know that. Oh, yes.
I'm going to give you a little bit of education on this. Okay. First of all, yeah, they are neighbors. Fine. Understood. But it doesn't come into play until it's based on how you're taking her. If you're taking her from the back, then you might have a problem out of there. If you're taking her from the front, it's not really going to matter because your mouth and your tongue shouldn't be that far down anyhow. Just saying, it shouldn't be, or else, as I said, you'd be doing it wrong.
Okay, Professor.
You'd be completely off it.
Okay.
Yeah, this doctorate, man. Yeah, this doctorate.
Thank you kindly, sir.
He's a lame pair of menorahs, But of course, delving into that, we can talk mostly about the centers of pleasure in the body. Now, for some of us here, we are not so in tune to our bodies to come to the realization that we know what makes us or feel a whole heap of pleasure. What would you guys say are pleasure centers that people need to become aware of?
Well, what I would say to that is that to each his own. There are some general rules general things that have been proven by science. That the female has a G-spot that is located inside.
Oh God, this road.
This is usually found if it is that you insert a finger and what you call I can't really describe it. I think Alex would do a better job, but let me try now. You're going on upward sweep to the top. It should feel a little rougher than the tissue within inside.
Is he there? Can he
He's there, man. He's allowed me to make a fool of myself, and then he's and let me know what is what, you know.
I'm just going to say.
Yeah, there we go. Good. Go ahead.
Alright.
Yes.
I'm going to keep the question.
Skip it. Alright, fine. Fine, but I'm speaking about pleasure. I'm thinking about pleasure centers, right? So, are we to be apart, to be real and truly in the moment? Because I've heard one person say to me before they don't like uninhibited sex, and I think we can understand what that means. They like to lose themselves in the moment. But I think one way you can only do so is if you are aware of what brings you much pleasure on your body. There are some persons who like their necks being kissed. There's some persons who like tongue in ears. There's some persons like tongue in nostrils.
That's nasty.
Yes, but I guess you're right.
All right.
Maybe
so
it's nasty. Maybe
let's not do that, guys. We're not going to ostracize people that have different fetishes.
Different kinks. We're just talking about places of pleasure because it's places of pleasure. There's some persons that don't. There's some women that don't like their nipples sucked, and I happen to know that the areola is very, very sensitive for holy for women. Right. So women can say, hey, they don't want that, but I'm just speaking about knowing about the pleasure centers on your body and having proper respect given to them. There are some women that like their navels licked. True.
Alright, so that is very true. So alright, so here you go. You have a lot of sensitive spots on a woman's body. Overall, some women like certain
things. This is the what we call it. There's a system for it now. What is it called? The erosional system, I think so. Am I right about that?
Yes,
I think I might be right about that. You're right. The different pleasure spots on the body.
So of course we all know the common ones: neck, ears, belly button.
I didn't know that the nose was involved.
Yes, man. The ridge of the nose.
I'm not talking about the ridge of the nose.
Inside the nostril. Yeah, inside the nostril. I'm not very aware of that.
Let me tell you what it acts as. You know, like inside your ear, that same feeling.
I'm
telling you. No, I get it completely, Ryan.
Wonderful. Let's move on to it, please.
But I'm just saying, I'm not aware of it. I understand
that's good.
I understand the tip of the
nose.
No.
Don't give him any
no, I'm just saying, I understand the tip of the nose because
continue. Tip of the nose. The other section of the back.
But let's speak about the other roads you know about
Alex. And
what about
a lot of people would not. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people not know this as well. But did you guys know that another sensitive spot is right where the panty line is?
Are you talking about the front or the small, the back? Where you're talking about?
Well, actually, both.
Yeah, both. I know about the small, the back, but you mean where the cut? You mean right there where you have the hips? Like that ear right there, like where you have the bones of the hip, that line that comes down right there. That's what you're talking about?
Normal panty, completely sensitive. And why is it sensitive? The entire line going around is completely sensitive. Do you know why it's sensitive?
Not necessarily, but you can tell me.
Alright, see, because like us, they wear panties every day. You see, because the panty is so thin, that entire area there is constantly being squeezed, so the skin there gets actually very, very sensitive over time.
It gets very thin over time, so it's easily it's sensitized. Okay, exactly. I get what you mean.
As soon as you go there, you're kind of
It's almost like when you wear a tight socks for the whole day, and then you take it off, you see the ridges, you just rub your fingers across them, and it just they send you over the
Yeah, it gives you that nice feeling.
It gives you that nice feeling, as you say. That nice feeling. Yeah, any pressure put to skin that, causes the epidermis to thin will definitely give you a whole heap of pleasure. This is primarily the reason why behind the ears and the neck are very sensitive.
Inside
the skin there
inside the
thin.
thighs too.
Right.
Inside the thighs too.
Anywhere in that general area, because it's very delicate, so it has a lot of erogenous zone. For some people, I'm just speaking over
some people,
most people do.
I don't pose. I don't understand it, but your toes are actually a part of that. I think Josh, or was it you, Rand, that mentioned armpits earlier? For some people,
not this
yes.
Definitely me.
For some people, yes. And then you have the kind of, for me, I say it's outlandish, but it happens. People who actually like their eyeballs being licked. So,
alright.
Yeah.
I think it's that.
But I mean, we can't jump off this stuff. We're not talking about those toes. I think that would just be lying to ourselves. People do like their toes being soft. We know this. It don't make any sense you try to hide it. I'm not saying anyone here does it, but it is something that is well liked because the toes are very erogenous as well. I'm not so sure about the fingers. I'm sure some people do like it in some places, but toes soft are definitely one.
I think that's a little. I don't think it's more erogenous than it is just erotic.
A fetish, or probably erotic, or just a fetish.
Yeah, it's just a little bit erotic.
Course,
it turns you on, but
you're talking about the toes.
The toes.
Oh,
yes,
the fingers.
toes.
No, fingers.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with your fingers though, as opposed to your toes. Even though it's because normally most endings on your body are very sensitive because of course that's where the nerve.
For obvious reasons.
Right, but the feet come under more pressure than your fingers. You walk on your feet. They are always covered for most of the day when it is that you go to work. You wear clothes, shoes, and socks and all of that. So you're talking about the same pressure that would have been applied to say when there's a release, when there's freedom, and then it being touched. It would cause for more things happening, going up your spine kind of thing going on in your body. A
side note, away from the topic. Someone once said to me, I mean, if you cover your feet and you're always wearing a shirt, these are places likely to sour very fast. Why don't we use deodorant to our crotches?
But you have ball deodorant,
You do?
And yes, you do. You have the companies that specialize in same. And something that I learned from my ex is that whenever I shave, I use deodorant. I have a deodorant that I use on my crotch. And not only when I shave, like in the hot time, it's either powder, it's going to be medicated powder, or it's going to be deodorant. Because whether or not I am sleeping with anybody, I have to
it's just proper hygiene.
Yeah, I have to see my own self. Like, I love myself and I want to care for my body. It's not.
I mean, it's your responsibility, Kind of your responsibility. But I mean, speaking about this, I mean, I know the listeners would like to hear a different point of view. We definitely have a part 2 to this. I know this may have been a bit short, but we'll definitely get back in short order. But next time, we're joined by 3 females to give you a more insight as to what sex is. So you can definitely look out for that next episode by week after next, I believe, Monday. Or it could be within the same week, not too sure on that. But just keep posted, ensure you turn post notifications on this channel. And also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this video. You can check us out here every Monday at 9 p.m. Our Twitter handles are linked in the description below.
I do not have Twitter.
Rather,
Instagram.
Our social handles are linked down below. So you can definitely just check us out there. Very interesting topic. We'd love to delve into it also next week as well. So definitely watch out for that. It should be a much more spicier episode. I know you guys have a lot more to say. We can't wait to say more. So from me here in the studio,
it's molest the subscribe button, guys. Molest the subscribe button.
Don't forget, definitely molest that subscriber button. We definitely appreciate that. Give that the sexual harassment. Or subscribe for Josh because he's here, He's here. Subscribe for Josh. He's here. So just like, share, and subscribe this video, all social media platforms. Definitely appreciate that. So from us here in the studio, me, Josh, and Alex, please look out for our part 2 next week. And thanks for listening and enjoy the rest of your night.